So YouTube has openly admitted they do not send out notifications to all subscribers. So if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button and click the notification bell next to it so you can make sure you get notifications for all videos that I put up. And if you like the video, please give the video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for being here and all the support. Enjoy the show. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Big Country here. Welcome back to Country Living and another episode of The Clone Show, sponsored by FastTech. And if you haven't noticed already, we have a different setup for this episode of The Clone Show. As you can see, we got Micah here once again for the third time on the channel as a dual review. And if you haven't seen the first two episodes, the first one was on the UHV RTA. The second was on the Vapor Storm 200 watt box mod. Those links will be in the description or even up here on the channel, up on the screen somewhere. Click it and if you want to check them out. And today we are doing on the Wake RTA. And if you don't know who Micah is, Micah, tell them who you are.
I am a fellow member of TeamGoonies, along with the Vaping Buckeye and CashApp, of course, Country Living here. You can find me over on Instagram, Micah DIY Hicks. Do a lot of coil builds, building mods now. Just love vaping, making my own juice, and doing what we do.
Yeah, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but how did we meet?
Oh my gosh,
how did you
that's
find
a long story. No,
actually,
it was first video of yours that I watched. Was right when I wanted to start getting into mechs, and it was when you did a clone review of the AV Able.
There you go. And how did we first actually talk? Well, what was the circumstances?
I started commenting. It was your moose poop DIY mix.
Yes, that's a great recipe.
Great
recipe, by the way.
That you needed to call it scat, I believe.
Scat.
And you were like, who is this guy? And then we just started talking from there, and the rest is history.
Well, I was kind of hoping you would throw out the big thing, which actually really got us in contact. Didn't you win my 500 subscriber video?
Oh yeah, but we were talking before then. But yeah.
You won the 5, and he made me sign this fucking damn thing.
Don't make me get it out.
Don't get it out. Don't get it out. Anyway, what was that? It was the RTA, or was
it was the Scion.
Yeah, the Scion.
Along with the Sigelli 213, and then you sent me all yours to go to blue, yours to go to red, Crepescape, Nanner Pudding.
Okay, so yeah, that's enough for reminiscing. That's how we met. That's how I know Mike. I've been talking a long time. One of the Goonie members, and one of my daily people I talk to and rely on for information, and somebody who corrects me when I'm incorrect. So anyway, enough of that shit. That's Micah in a nutshell. Follow him on Instagram. His links will be in his stuff will be in the description, also on the screen. So let's go down and take a look at the Wake RTA. Just real quick here, fellas. We've been using this thing for a couple of weeks now. We got them the same time, put bills in them the same time, put cotton in the same time. We've wicked them the same time. I've used nothing but beer number 32. I've used the one strawberry. I have used the one blueberry, and I have used some Hometown Hero sea salts. One of the new what's that word? Nick salts. One of the new Nick salt lines. I got Mike in a call here with me too. He showed me a picture of what his looked like, his coils and all that shit in the cotton after the use. But I just want to take mine apart and kind of show you what they look like before I kind of present the product to you. That's 2 weeks of use, steady use too, steady use. Here we go. Let's take this off. Look at that. What I got in here? I got, I think these are aliens. Yeah, aliens with my cotton candy collection in here. So let's take off this housing here. See, mine's not too bad. Micah's was way worse. Look, Micah, I'm taking this off camera for a second. Look, Micah.
Oh, wow.
Mine's way cleaner than yours, right? Yeah. And I think that probably has something to do, I don't know, maybe the wicking technique, maybe the temperature used, different things. You know, I just kind of wanted to show you what my wicking looked like, what these RTA and the coils look like after 2 weeks of solid use, using the juices that I mentioned to you. And yeah, I'm gonna clean these up. I'm not gonna put a fresh build in this thing today, but I'm gonna clean these coils up, bring it back to you, and show you how it comes in packaging. All right, here we are back after a great cleaning session. Ultrasonic clean. This thing has been cleaned up really good, and the coils look just as good as they did when I first put them in. Good as new, baby. Now it comes with a little generic packaging, one of these tubes. It does have an extra glass tube and an O-ring, and yeah, just a spare O-rings. That's all there is. That's all there is. Really not worth showing. So, but then when you get this thing, it's all put together. Now the biggest issue that I had with this from the beginning was getting this thing apart. This was not hand put together. This had to be machine put together, because man, you just could not get it apart. I wasn't the only one that had this issue. Micah had the same issue too. It was just a pain in the ass to get it apart. It took, and you know, when you're trying to grab it to where you don't damage anything, that's the hard part. You don't want to damage it. So because when this is together right here, the thing we couldn't get apart was this top cap. You know, it's got knurling between the top cap itself, the top fill system, and the top of the tank, but man, we just couldn't get it apart because you couldn't get the grip. So we had to get some tools out and, you know, protect the glass, and eventually, obviously, we got it off, but it was just a pain in the ass. So I do recommend right now, before I forget to tell you, because if you look, there's an O-ring right there inside on the threading, which prevents any leaking coming right from the top. So when you do get this, if you do get this, and you get it apart, scrub this, turn it, close it until it stops. Do not force it any further, or you have that same issue. Okay, so there's the top cap issue, or getting this thing apart, period. So now, you look at the coils here. I mean, it's just a straight, regular old postless, it's a postless style deck. That's all it is. You got your grub screws on either side. And I like how the screws are facing the right direction. It's not velocity style, so your leads are not getting squeezed. The airflow goes under the bottom, right under the coil, and it comes in through the sides right here. Nice, simple deck. And this little piece right here is a sleeve. This is pretty much your juice feeder, but it goes over your cotton and your wicks, your coils, and your wicks, and it goes in here and it locks them into place. This is I think this is the key that really makes this thing work. And the reason we're not going to put a build in here, because wicking this thing is especially key because of the way this thing's put together. And if you look at the top cap, you got the barrel in here. You got all these little juice flow ports that are all closed off until it gets to one of these. This right here is what blocks off all these ports so you don't get too much juice. So it does have some juice control. So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to go ahead and put some wick in here. Like I said, the wicking on this thing is key, and I'll show you what I mean by that here in just a moment. And once again, I always use my cotton candy. I love my cotton candy collection. I do have a discount link in the description. If you want to go check them out, you can save 20%. Everything is in the description. Go to igotcandy.com and use code country20. Love this stuff. I believe this is the best vape cotton in the industry. That's just my opinion. So some people that have tried it has agreed with me. Some people who's tried it has disagreed with me. So it's all about personal wants and desires and what you like. All right, so we're going to thin this out. These coils are on a 3mm ID, so I pretty much know the thickness that I need for that type of coil. That's about right. So we're going to twist the ends, of course, like we always do. Alright, yeah, just perfect. Just enough snug as a bug in a rug. We're going to take this through, leave it long. We're going to trim them long. So about like that is plenty long enough. We'll come over here and do the same thing. Alright, now, here's the trick. This is what is going to give you the best performance out of this thing. You see, let me try to zoom in some. Okay. The way you want this thing trimmed is you want, once you get this cap on, you want the wick, the end of your wick, to kind of be right in the middle or a little higher, maybe just the top third of this. That way the juice will come in from the bottom. We'll go about half. So what we're going to do, we're going to try to fold this down. Make sure I'm on camera. Fold this down to right like that. And you want to trim it like right there. You know, a good place to line up will be right at the base of the grub screw. See that grub screw right there? Line up at the bottom of that grub screw. Trim right there. That's what we're going to do right now. That's still a little too much. Matter of fact, we can probably get away with that. We just got to thin out the leaves a little bit. Thin out the ends just a little bit. We can get away with it though. And we're going to do right there too. Okay, because we got to remember, we're putting a housing over this cotton, over the wicks. We don't want to have it stuffed too much. So we're going to thin out. I never really thin out cotton. I never thin out the end of the cotton because I don't have to. I'm an RTA guy. But when it comes to RTAs and tanks, this is stuff that you're going to have to do, especially when you got something like this wicking guide. Well, I guess we're going to juice control attachment. I guess we'll call it. So let's do the other side as well. Make sure I'm on camera. Just want to focus it out or thin it out, just so we can make sure we get some good, proper wicking. And I'll show you how you can tell that once you put juice in. Alright, so that's all flowed in. Still on camera? Yep. Alright, so we're going to do this. I think this will be fine, right? Yeah. Okay, so just leave it as is, right like that. Take your thing here. This thing may have to go down some more. There we go. There we go. Okay, because this thing has teeth. It will go in, it can only go in one way. And it's in perfect right now. Look at that. Perfect. Make sure it's in there. Okay, now the way you tell this, really, if you have too much cotton in there, what's going to happen? The cotton's going to go up under this ring, and it's going to impede with your threading. So if we don't have any threading impeding, then we're good. Look at that, we're perfect. 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 Okay, so. Also, the AFC is a floating AFC. See how it's just laying there? Just comes off. You just got to turn it, and then it will, once you, upside down, turn it, and it will, it's got little teeth. Where's it? There it is, right there. See a little, like, tooth? Oh, right there. Yeah, right above the airflow. You also got a little slot right here. Right there. Once those line up together, it'll slide on, and then it just goes wide open or closed. Either way, that's it. But it's a free floating AFC. So let's put this on the mod that it has lived on since I got it, which is the Geek Vape Blade. This is absolutely the mod that it's lived on ever since I got it. So we're going to fill this up with some number 32s. I haven't had any in a while. Make sure your AFC is closed, especially when you're first wicking. Or, yeah, especially when you first juice it, because you don't want this stuff to flow out the bottom and make a mess. Now, just like with any RTA, high VG juices do not work as well as a lower VG. I would recommend it high as you go in an RTA or any tank will be about 70-30, because it has to wick in order to get flavor, in order to get juice, right? So I would say that. And then, but this beer, the number 32, is a 60-40. Now what I'm going to do, since this is a fresh wick, I'm going to drop some right down the center. Just some to help with the cotton, which I should have primed that before I close it off. So we're going to let this soak up, let it get all saturated, and we'll go back up top and talk about it. Okay, so that was the overhead. If you notice the I put pictures up. If I didn't, I'm gonna put them up right now. The left is going to be my coils and cotton after 2 weeks of use. The right is going to be Micah's coils and cotton after 2 weeks of use. And then right after, same coil, just cleaned up, micro cleaned, shut to hell, ultrasonic. There we go, ultrasonic cleaned, and they look just as good as new. So you can look at the comparison. I think he used what juices did you use during that 2 weeks?
I went through the entire 60 mil of beard number 32. I finished off my original one, the strawberry. I don't know how much of that I had left, but I put the whole 100 mils of the blueberry one that they sent me. And then, I think I managed to get 1 tank of the new legit line from Hometown Hero. But
all are super sweet juices for sure. And mine didn't gunk up as bad as my coils. When I got a little closer, my coils looked almost as bad as yours. Mine wasn't. My cotton though wasn't. I think just the difference in temperature and probably the length of pulls is what.
And mine was a little overwick.
Yeah, and wicking too. Cause mine, I showed in the overhead of the best way to wick this thing and how you can tell if you're wicking. I'll tell you what. For one. When it comes to dry hits, watch it. I'm gonna probably speed this process up. But 10 straight back-to-back hits. You see that thing bubbling like crazy. Whew. That's how you can tell. Whew. 3mg juice, y'all. Whew. Oh man, when you got bubbles, I'm stoned right now. Because when I do my juices, I'm barely vaping a 1, and on store juices I'm vaping a 3. But that was almost a full tank. But look at it, it's down to half now to those 10 pulls. It does swallow the juice, but that's a compliment to the wicking. So how I showed you to wick it, you need to wick it because you get massive bubbles. And at 10 full, second and a half pulls. Let's see. 1.24 second pull, that's my average pull. 10 back to back, not a dry hit, not once. That's compliment to the wicking. Okay, that's just proof right there. No dry hits at all. Wow. While I'll calm down from my buzz, you open your thoughts. Again, with the dual review, we don't talk about our findings or our thoughts about this product until right now. I don't know what he's thinking. He'll know what I'm thinking. We know, from the beginning when we first opened the package, we had something to bitch about. We both had the same bitch, but other than that, we don't know our true thoughts about this yet. So Micah is going to continue while I calm down.
Yeah, I can get the same amount of pulls now. Mine was definitely overwicked off of my first build. After 5 hits, I was getting dry hits, and it was driving me crazy. And then I was also using a thicker juice. The first juice that I put in here with one of my DIY juices was probably an 85-15. So it probably what initially destroyed my cotton.
Right.
All dark. Because I was getting dry hits and it was getting hot. But now, and I'm pretty sure I haven't seen overhead what you do with the wicking technique, but we're doing it the same where that cotton is just barely sitting there, right there at those wicking ports. And it hits phenomenally. Yeah,
exactly. Definitely with any tank, like I mentioned in the overhead, 70-30 or lower. This particular 32 is a 60-40, so it works out perfect. But you can probably maybe do an 80-20, but that's still going to be a little rough on any RTA. But with this, you can adjust the airflow control, of course. So if you use a thicker juice, you want to have wide open airflow control. If you use a thinner juice, then of course you want to maybe try to do it halfway down or whatever you like. It depends on your feeling on juice control, whether you want it or not. Well, I got the. We got two different ones. I got the blue one, as you can see, and I've had it on my blade this whole time. It's lived on the blade. I got a full review coming up on the blade here eventually. So, what color did you get?
I went with the gold.
Okay.
Just all gold all the way around. I got on the Chaos, nice little LEDs that make it matchy. Mm-hmm. And it's been on this the whole time. I haven't put it on anything else.
It's just been on the Chaos the whole time. Okay.
Actually, Well, we'll get to that here in a minute.
Yeah.
I did initially have it on something else.
Well, yeah, we went through, we'll talk about that now. We'll start it right now, actually. Some issues that we have with this thing. The first issue was right out of the package. And I mentioned this in overhead as well. You could not get the damn thing apart easily. It was a pain in the ass. Tools were involved.
So that I could open all the pieces of the wake to get the tank off. Just to get to the build deck, I had to use channel locks and pliers and wrap it up in a paper towel so that I didn't tear it apart. And I'm not talking like, oh, it was simple. Even with the channel locks, I mean, I had to
put some wrench into it.
Yeah, I had to winch into this thing to get it open. Yeah,
and you know, when I got to the bottom, after I finally got the top cap off, I put scissors inside the airflow because they were thin enough to go all the way through, and I was able to crank it that way. So yeah, this thing was definitely felt like it was machine put together, not by hand, and it was just wrenched down way too tight. So that was the biggest issue we had right from the get-go. A second issue that we noticed right off the bat is when we put it on, we were noticing no atomizer readings on no matter what model we put it on. Then come to find out, like right now, you see, I'm fine. I can hit it, right? See? But if I crank down just a smidget, no coil detected. This happens no matter what mod we put it on. So what had to happen here is you got to back it up, and then when you screw it in, as soon as it stops, stop. And then you're fine. Now, by looking at this, taking it apart, I just don't know why it's doing that. I thought maybe the 510 was a little down further, which was maybe depressing the 510 more than it should have been. That's not it. But I'm starting to think now that it's designed that way because of the floating AFC ring. Because if you crank it down like that, you cannot turn this AFC ring. You can't. But when you back it up, you can. It's free moving. So maybe it was designed that way. And if it was, I think it's a shit design for that reason.
And I agree. They didn't add the AFC, and you probably talk about this in the overhead, but I'm going to take my tank off right now. But that AFC ring is just floating.
Yeah, just a floating AFC ring. There's nothing
holding it in place. It comes off. You know, I mean, I guess you could actually run it without the airflow control ring if you wanted to. It wouldn't look very nice. But since they didn't add an actual bottom to this for the AFC ring to just freely adjust inside, that's exactly what it is. So yeah, I winched it down. And of course, yay, tech atomizer. Yay, I can't take a hit. So let me just back it up. And there it goes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It was on the blade. And I wasn't going to put it on a VV or a mech or anything like that just because there's no protection in those things. So I made sure it was on a regular. I put it on my Limitless mod. I put it on the Captain. I put it on the blade. I put it on the Vapor Storm 200 watt. Put it on like 4 or 5 different mods just to see if it was the mod. But no, it's the Addy. I have to believe it's designed that way.
Yeah, I had a crooked 510 at the bottom of mine. Like it looked wonky. So of course, when I got it and got it all apart, I popped that 510 out as well, and I ultrasonic the whole thing. So when I put it back together, I made sure it was nice and level and flush. Yeah, Vapor Storm, my old RX 200, which reads everything. Like that thing reads everything. The Reventer, the Free, now the Chaos, and same thing. You winch it all the way down, no atomizer.
Yeah, it's very, very weird, to say the least. I don't know how else to say it. Weird, bad, flawed. Maybe the authentic works fine. Maybe it's just the clone that we got here. There is information on the screen about this whole thing and all the images, specs, and price and everything. There will be a link in the description to where you can go check it out for yourself. But I don't know. Maybe it's the clone. If you have it authentic, or if you have a clone, or if yours has this same issue, let us know in the comments. What other thoughts on the wake do you have there, Mr. Micah?
Well, taking it apart, the build deck itself, when you winch that down in there, the threading on my build deck, I don't know about yours, but once I get my coils in and I'm going to adjust them, and I'm wiggling them around, by doing a counterclockwise wiggle on that coil to straighten it, the build deck would come unscrewed from the base. Like, it doesn't thread in there tight enough to where when you want to adjust your coils, that they're easily adjustable. And so, I mean, there's no other way to really build that build deck unless you want to hold it with your hands, putting it into a build stand. That's just something small, just something to be aware of, is that when you're...
I didn't have any issues with my deck coming unscrewed.
Mine unscrewed every time I would go to, twist that coil back the other way, which is not really a big deal.
Sure,
big deal
wasn't you not having that base screwed in tight enough?
Oh, no, because I redid it again last night. It's got a brand new, fresh build and everything. I ultrasonicked it again, maybe there was machine, no, same exact thing. I mean, and I winched that bad boy down because I was hoping that maybe if I really winched it down, I wouldn't get the check atomizer issue again too. Maybe there was in there, and same thing. But my biggest issue with the build deck itself is my grub screws are already stripped. This is the second build that's been in it.
Yeah, the grub screws. I mean, we know the biggest issue with any of these things is those when they have those small, fine grub screws in these clones. That's one of the first things to go, and that's one thing that I've never liked since I started vaping is the grub screws. When I first started vaping, I bought when I had the Tro V2, I wound up buying like 300 stainless steel grub screws. I think the jar is in there. I thought it was still in here. It's in there in my coil kit. I wound up buying like 300 or 100, no, like 100 or 200, whatever it was, for like $10. Stainless steel grub screws that don't even fit the Tro. I didn't know how to measure that shit then, but it does fit in some other things that I've gotten since then. So if I have a stripped grub screw, I can put those in. I think they're like 3 millimeters or something like that, or whatever they are, but they won't even fit in this. So yeah. The grub screws, I'm not stripped out yet, but I've only got one build in here, so I haven't replaced the build yet. Yeah. So
rebuilding mine last night. 2 out of the 4 grub screws are stripped. So I made sure that they were on the same side, one on different coils, so that tightening it, so I could get an even fire. I've always, you can change the angle.
So you took your coils out to ultrasonic cleaning, did you?
Yeah, I completely
I took everything apart. I just left my coils in the thing, threw it in the ultrasonic cleaner.
Yeah, I put a brand new build in just in the off hopes, ultrasonic the whole thing completely, took the grub screws all the way out, thinking maybe if I rebuild it from scratch, I won't get that 510 issue. Maybe something was messed up from the first, and nope, same thing.
Okay.
Other than that, though, filling it up, simple.
Yeah, top
as long as you hold on to that knurling so that when you take it off, you don't unscrew or screw down the 510. But it comes off easy. It's real easy to fill.
Yeah, I'll put my thumb up against it right there, and I'll take it off like this. And like I said in the overhead, where it's got the O-ring air on top, when you tote it back on, once you get down to where it don't turn no more, stop. Don't wrench it down. You're going to have to get some channel locks out.
Yep, wrench it down, then it's hard to get back off again. Or if you winch it down, now you've turned the Addy more into the 510, and you're not going to get a hit.
Yeah.
So. But it is a wicking champion. Now, granted, I've only had one other RTA. Run plenty of tanks before with pre-made coils and stuff like that. I've had tanks with RBA decks. This thing, if you wick it properly, goes through juice like there's no tomorrow. The bubbles that come out of the airflow are amazing.
It's only it's less than a 3 mil. Yeah, it's less than a 3 mil capacity. It's 2.8 is what they advertise as. So it does, like I said, when you wick it properly, it does suck through the juice for sure. Especially when you chain vape like I did just a few minutes ago to prove a point. It's great. So flavor wise on this RTA, I think it's really good. I'm not a huge tank guy, so where I don't use them on the regular basis. I just prefer to drip. Then I can't I can't say this is better than something like the Manta, because I know the Manta was really good. I haven't done a review on that yet, but I got one coming up for that too. I can't say it's as good as I love the Amit. I love the Coil Art Triple, the triple Coil Art RTA Azeroth. That's the name of it, Azeroth. The Sherman RTA is good. And you know the wake here, I think it's good. Flavor wise, it's okay. It doesn't to me. It doesn't compete to dripping, of course. I just prefer to drip, but it's good. I know what beer. That's why when I use something like this or any new device, I make sure I use a juice that I know what it tastes like or what it's supposed to taste like, because I've vaped it forever. Mainly this 32 here, I know exactly every note that I'm supposed to get off of it.
You know, dear. You know, beard.
I know beard, okay, and the 1B. I know what I'm supposed to taste. But there has been the Leviathan here from Depths, from Hometown Hero, this Nick Salt line. I've had this in this thing, and this turned out to be really, really good. And there's a bunch of stuff Hometown Hero is doing as well. Micah is partnering up with them guys, so he can tell you some information about them as well. He's got a discount code I'll put in the description if you want to check it out. So what's new going on with Hometown right now?
Well, you know, the Leviathan came out not too long ago. That's their Nick Salt line. They just put out the new, my favorite one over here, the Legit line. There's 2 different bottles. There's no bottle, 70/30. This line is, I don't know the exact price. I should have looked it up before we got on this. But the price for these 3, the Legit line, is going to be lower than your Artist line, your Leviathan line, or your Laser Wolf line. So this is a more affordable juice line compared to their other 3. You know, they did that. This is a sweet lemon bar that they've done.
Oh, that sounds good.
And yeah, I started vaping this on Tuesday, along with all the other vapes that I do, and I'm down to 30 already on it.
That's a good juice, huh?
The straw melon cupcake in the RTA right now is the first thing I put in this morning, and I'll probably be down to a 30 of it before the day's over. And you know me, I vape 6 or 7 different juices.
Yeah, you're like me. Yeah, you have like 6, 7, 10 bottles of juice that you just vape on regularly. So, yeah. So what's your discount code?
It's Micah 20.
Okay, so Micah 20.
Checkout's going to take you save you 20% off anything over there.
All right, so the Hometown Hero link will be in the description along with his code Micah 20 if you want to go check any of that stuff out, and on Instagram as well. Hit them up there. They might I don't know, do something for you. So final thoughts on the Wake RTA. You know, people have asked me to give ratings, and I've gave a couple here and there, and I don't want to do a numbers rating, so I'm just going to do a simple thumbs deal. It's either going to be a single thumbs up or 2 thumbs up, or 1 thumbs down or 2 thumbs down, depending on whether, you know, it's good enough to purchase, it's fucking great, or it's okay, but I should have spent my money somewhere else, or just don't buy it all. So, Mr. Micah, over the few, this, he doesn't want.
Let me explain that. I am I'm a RDA user. Almost solely, exclusively RDAs all the way. So the reason I'm saying that is this is not going to push me into wanting another RTA or to even try a different one to see if it's better. That's why I'm giving it the 1 thumbs down. Now, if we were basing it all off of performance, once you have it built, once you have it on, I mean, I would give it more than 2 thumbs up. It wicks phenomenally. The flavor is there. You know what I mean? I have no complaints with it whatsoever.
But even with the flavor being as good as it is, your overall feeling is a 1 thumbs down. Thinking that it's not the worst thing you purchased. You just kind of wish you'd have spent your money elsewhere.
Exactly right. Like, I could have gotten how many other different RDAs that I can mess with. You know, it's not going to push me into an RTA.
Okay.
Now, I like it better than my RDTA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will say that. I just like the performance better. And, you know, this thing performs great. Once you have it together, performance is there. But it's not going to make me go, okay, I need to try some other RTAs now. Nope.
Okay.
Not going to do it.
The sad part is, after dealing with the way it came from the factory, after dealing with the short out problem when you crank, I don't want to say crank it down, just tighten it down standard. Just a standard apply. Nothing extra, just putting something down the normal the way you tighten it. The shorts out. The floating AFC, those are the biggest things that I have issues with. And again, the flavor is great, but it comes down to wicking. I feel like I am the one who controlled the flavor there, not the RTA.
Correct.
So, and being I'm an RTA guy, not an RTA guy traditionally, I don't feel I will use this anymore after today. I've used it solid for the last 2 weeks just so I can get a solid opinion and a solid feeling on this so I can be knowledgeable of the product. So with all that said, myself is going to be a 1 thumbs down. Just because it's not the worst thing that I have, but if I was going to spend money for this, I'd rather have my money spent elsewhere. So
I really thought you were going to be a 1 thumb upper. I was wrong. I thought it was going to be a 1 thumbs up.
And that's why we don't talk about our thoughts before the video. So, those are my reasons. Those are his reasonings. Let me know what you think about the Wake RTA. If it's something that you have, or something that you want, something that you was going to get, and what your feelings on it. And if you have an authentic, let me know about that atomizer short deal. Is that purposely designed that way, or do you think it's just a clone that we got? So that's it. Micah, as always, man, thanks for hanging out with me, brother. I appreciate it.
Sure.
It's always fun doing door reviews, of course. And again, all of his information will be in the description along with Hometown Hero and his discount code. Look forward to more of these. I do want to thank everybody for all the support, your Patreons. You've been listed on the screen the whole time. Thank you so much for your continued support. Thank you so much for watching. And until next video, just keep on vaping and living, baby.